Hello world, this is the American Question. It is January 25th, 2022, and I am making this new YouTube channel because I have questions. I have a lot of questions, and I have been interested in politics for as long as I can remember, and I love history, and I used to ask myself what I would have done if I had lived in the 20th century when all of World War II was going on, with the Cold War, with just the complexities and challenges that they faced. And I had no idea I would have to live through the years 2020, 2021, and now apparently 2022. So far through January, it has been a rough year. Here in America, we are seeing inflation off the charts, and the numbers that have been statistically given is about 7%. And I have a family that I have to shop for weekly. We see it all over the country. It's flooded with the food shortages, the shelves, and granted, it just depends on the store, it depends on the location. We know about the shipping problems, we know about the supply chain, and then we know about all the mandates. We have all lived through it one way or another. And now we have the global conflicts just seeming to escalate globally. And as we continue down this path, in this divide that I've witnessed, I'm sure every American has witnessed on some level, lives daily. It's heartbreaking. This wasn't the America I grew up in. I don't recognize it. And there's this feeling of dread. I guess that's the best way to describe it. That as an American, I've never experienced before, and you can put whatever label you want on that, because that's what we're really good at doing as a society now. We're really good at labeling things and pocketing them, but never actually seeming to fundamentally deal with anything with any grounds in reality. And I think reality is really important right now in these days, because right now we are watching a generation of younger people that are so engrossed with TikTok, and I'm sure the metaverse is going to keep growing, which is, in my opinion, a very threat to the foundations of what it means to be human, and I will probably do a video on that. And I have so many questions about so many things, and there's no solid answers to these. So I just felt like making a channel where I could propose questions, I could ask questions, and maybe there won't be any answers to them, but I think, especially Americans, and this isn't mean, it's not meant to be an insult, but we need to start thinking again. I've been really inspired by these Canadian truckers in the Truckers Convoy of 2022. So much to the point where I'm actually making a YouTube video. These people amaze me. They do. The amount of them that are risking everything because they love their country. And that's beautiful. Because we seem to have forgotten, especially in the Western world, what our countries stand for. What do we stand for? The things that we fight about here in America now that are basic things are distractions. They're distractions from reality. And that's scary. When you have people who can't even argue in reality anymore. They can't converse in reality anymore. How can you ask critical questions if you can't even function in the hardships of reality? And that's a challenge. That's a real challenge. And as I was thinking about this, I went over and grabbed some books, because the two that have really been sticking with me, and I think that they help pose the questions, is number one, The Giver. I don't know how many of you have ever read The Giver, but I would highly recommend it. A lot of people talk about the Hunger Games right now in current literature, which isn't even that current anymore, but that's another discussion for a different day. But The Giver, I'm just going to read this little snippet on the back. Jonah's world is perfect. Everything is under control. There is no war or fear or pain. There are no choices. Every person is assigned a role in the community. When Jonas turns 12, he signed out to receive special training from the Giver. The Giver alone holds the memories of the true pain and pleasures of life. Now it's time for Jonas to receive the truth. There is no turning back. I really identify with this book, with everything that's been going on as we hear these drumbeats of war and of control. And what does that mean? It means a lot. And I have questions. Because when we lose freedom of speech, when we lose the ability to ask questions, to even ask them without censorship, without fact checkers, humanity loses its cognitive ability of memory. And that is how we have repeats of the atrocities and the horrors of the past. And I'm a mother. And that scares me. As a human, that scares me. And I do believe in freedom. And I don't believe that freedom is easy. I believe that freedom has risks. Just like it says in this book. This is a society that has no choice. And it's a dystopian society. The amount of dystopia books that were written, especially after the Cold War, especially directly after World War II, Brave New World, 1984, there's a lot. These were not just fantasies created by people with wonderful imaginations or vibrant imaginations. They were written as warnings. They were not written as how-to books. But unfortunately, because of how fast-paced our society has become, we don't take the time. We don't slow down. And just like in Fahrenheit 451, you don't have to destroy books. You just have to get people to stop reading them. And that's what's happened. And here we are, January 25th, 2022, with governments still negotiating whether or not to enter potentially a World War III situation. And that is terrifying. We the people, we have a voice. And for those of us that have questions, please ask them here. I don't know the answers how to fix these things outside of prayer, repentance, revival, turning away from the ways of man and turning to God. At this point, that's the best we can hope for if we continue down these paths. And I pray that the leaders of the world turn from this. But no matter what, we the people still have a voice. And we the people have questions. That's all for now. Thanks for stopping by.